What's happening, world? It's your boy, Mr. Hypebeast Burger, joined as always by my man, my brother, Mr. Baloo Eats. What's happening, dog? What it do, bro?
What's going on with you, man? Ain't no complaints on this side, my guy. Good to see you again.
You as well, man. You as well. We kicking off another episode of Between the Buns Podcast, man. We rolling through, man. I think we got some momentum, man. We're catching our groove a little bit. We starting to catch the vibes. We starting to get, our brains working in unison. So it's a beautiful feeling, man. I feel like we're trying to stay consistent, which I think that's the most important thing, man. As it is with content creation, which is the whole, thing that brought us together in this world, in this community. Hopefully
Yep.
we can reach the people and expand beyond just the foodie community. So I'm feeling good, man. No complaints on this end, man. Um, yeah, man. Another day in beautiful paradise, man. Another day above ground, man. So it's always a good day, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. You make a great point about content creation, bringing people together. I mean, we had this story about Yelp and me meeting a lot of people, but something that this content creation thing did was I met other foodies and other content creators. So I got to pick brains of people. I met a lot of business owners, a lot of chefs, and built relationships. And this opened up a lot of doors for me. And I didn't realize how much of this would develop, let alone start a podcast with somebody that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
within a short amount of time. So um, this does do wonders when you do it properly and do it genuinely.
No
So if
doubt, man.
you get into something you get into, just be yourself. You never know what doors will open for you.
Yeah, and I think in terms of the consistency, man, I think this whole project's been put together just because we noticed a glitch in the matrix. We realized that video has began to dominate, a lot of the platforms that we were originally utilizing as just still images.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people want to get behind the scenes, between the buns. They want to get thorough, live, and direct. They want to get, who's the person behind the camera. They want to and even for myself, man, just like you said, man, just the liberty to meet so many really amazing content creators, but mostly just foodies, like people that are passionate about something that I think, we all need it. We need food to survive, man. But to have a passion for food, I think that's definitely the X factor that can always bring people together, especially in times like now, man. We're in the holiday seasons, but meeting
Mhm.
really, really cool chefs and restaurant owners, man, that's been one of the highlights of my whole hype beast burger journey so far, man, for sure.
Oh man, absolutely. I feel like if I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't have as many more relationships as I've had in time. I can't go to a restaurant and a manager recognize me or say, "Hey, aren't you so and so?" Or "Hey, I see you did this video for this one pop up, man. That was really good. It's nice to meet you." And it turns into an opportunity,
Yeah.
and you know other people and you connect them as well. You become this web of connecting everybody and networking, and
Let me ask
it's
you this: Are you that
developed.
big, man? Are you that big to where they recognize you out in the streets in the oak?
It, it depends on where I'm at. Be honest
Yeah.
with you, if I'm in like those bigger places, I'm not too recognized. If I'm more in the neighborhood areas, I am recognized. I've gone to some restaurants and some people say, "Hey, man, aren't you Baloo Eats? Don't you that foodie Baloo Eats?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I see your stuff." Because a lot of times when restaurants follow you on social media, they see your stuff and they'll say, "Hey, look at this guy. Look what he showed of our business." Or, "Hey, look at this guy. He lives nearby. He may show up." And there's a coffee shop up the road from me. And I met the owner and she developed this whole set outside of her spot. And when I show up, her staff knows me and they're like, "Oh, I recognize you. Ella talks about you all the time." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. She showed us your stuff. Your stuff looks really good." And so then it turns into people just recognizing, following. And plus, when you tag businesses and a lot of their employees follow their business and see it on social media, then they see you and then they follow you too. Because it happened at an ice cream spot not too far from here. And I went there for an exclusive ice cream, talked about another ice cream coming up. And one of the workers found me when I tagged the business, and she followed me. She's like, "Oh my God, your page is awesome. I'm glad you came in today." So
See, you're giving the game right now, man. You're literally telling the people that are just growing any platform, whatever their, interests are, how to feed the algorithm, how to gain traction, how to gain momentum. It's really just tagging and leveraging those connections and building on that, man. And I think that definitely goes a long way. Obviously, you said this earlier, but being genuine, you always give thorough, honest reviews every time, man. And that was one of the things I commended you on like earlier on, as we got to know each other. I was like, man, this is dope that you like do the reaction videos, man. Like you're really giving me I can see it in your eyes, like whether I'm gonna really check it out, if it's hidden or if it's a dud. I feel like I can trust your opinion on that. So I appreciate you on that one.
And I just want to let all the kids know Carlton's not glazing, as they say now. He was legit giving me flowers and was like, bro, man, you do this one take Drake. Because back then I wasn't editing videos. I was doing one shot straight through raw videos. Yeah. And it was definitely a challenge when I had to learn that video time is limited.
Yeah, see, that was my issue, man. Man, I can't tell you, man. I've tried to do voiceovers, man, and I'm sitting there for like an hour trying to like piece it together. I was like, man, get this, man. It's just not for me, man. But I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone and put my face on camera a little more. Sometimes I'll throw some voiceovers on there, man, but it's not necessarily what I'm comfortable with. I'm better at just interpersonal communication, natural communication. So whenever I feel like it's scripted situation or like a lights, camera, action kind of moment, I feel like I get a little out of my element. So nah, man, I've never heard that term, by the way. Glaze. Never heard that before. I've heard of Riz. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
As far as keeping up with the new slang terminology and whatnot. But man, let's get into this thing, man. Our first topic of the day. What we got, man? What we chopping it up on, man?
So I know last week we talked about getting ready for the holidays and what we want to do and getting together with the family, and it just made me think of when you're with your main family and you're just at home, your kids, yourself, or even when you were a kid, like what were your family meals that your parents went to because they're like, without a doubt, it's going to be a home run. The kids are going to love it. I know for me as a kid, it was always spaghetti night and Chinese night. And then the three things were spaghetti, Chinese, pizza. Those are the three things that were home runs every time.
So I saw a meme circling around on Instagram, and it was like when you realize your parents weren't necessarily trying to be cool on Friday nights when they ordered pizza, but it was really they were just exhausted from the work week, and this was quick, fast, and convenient to feed the family. You pushing into the weekend, so it's a good segue into the weekend for sure. Because, I know for me on a Friday night, if my mom ordered pizza, I probably got one of my best friends like about to come over. We about to play Sega or PlayStation. You know what I mean? Just as I got older, but like, you know what I mean? We were gonna do something like that. We might have had some snacks. We might have had like a skating ring night. You know what I mean? It could have been something like that. And then, once we get home, we got a pizza hot and ready from the GOAT of the 90s, which is Pizza Hut.
Okay. Always. I thought you were going to say Little Caesars. I was going to be like, whoa.
No, man, but yo, like, you just reminded me of something. Little Caesars was notorious when I was really young. So this was like early 90s. They had the pizza by the foot. I don't know what it was called, but it was literally like that long rectangular pizza.
Yeah,
I remember that was like I was like, this is huge. I gotta have it. You know what I mean? It was just this
Yeah.
crazy concept that had never been done before. It was, awkwardly shaped, contrary to like the standard circle. I grew up in the South, so I never grew up on Detroit style pizza with the squares or square pies up in the Northeast. So yeah, man, whatever that pizza was, I don't know if you remember what it was, man, but that was a game changer for sure though.
No, I do remember that, and I remember that advertisement, and I actually found the image of it.
Can you throw it up? Let's see
I'm
it.
about to throw it up because I'm like, hold on, I remember that, and I thought I remember they even delivered the car. They used to have a delivery car where it was an actual foot, but I didn't find an image of
Yeah,
it.
you were,
Okay,
bro.
you remember
You're
that?
right. No, man. I hope this isn't going to be one of those Mandela effects, but I'm almost 1,000% sure it used to be a big old foot.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were. What were? I don't even know what. Oh yeah, Caesars. So it was like Romans. I'm assuming.
yeah. Can you see it?
Let's see it. Not right now. I can't see it yet. Don't tell me we're having technical difficulties.
Hope not. Can you see it?
No, I can't see it. The people are gonna be like, man, what kind of shit is this? Come on now. It is what it is. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're still learning. It is
Yeah,
what it is. But no, man,
we got it to work before.
pizza for me was always a clutch family meal. That's actually a clutch family meal for me now. You know what I mean? I think one of the
I'm just gonna throw
challenges.
the picture of it on IG. I'm gonna
Yeah,
throw that picture on Instagram just so people know.
make sure you
But
follow
yeah,
BTW_pod. Did I say that right?
yeah.
BTW Buns. Yeah, you got to follow us on Instagram, man. That's where you'll get a lot of. I think a lot of our inside jokes kind of reside there, especially in the stories.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because I already got people that ask me about that candied wing that you tagged me in today. People are like, "Oh, I need to try that," and I'm like, "You have no idea what this is even relating to. I bet you ain't listening to the pod, but that hasn't been released yet." But you make a good point with the pizza because I remember Friday nights it was pizza and a trip to Blockbuster, and
How can I forget? Yeah,
I
bro.
was waiting for you to say it, but I was like,
Yeah.
maybe he didn't have one in Alabama. I don't know.
No, we definitely did. We definitely did.
But that was the weekend. My parents would get a movie, and I would get a game or two, and pizza, movie night, game night. And my house wasn't the hangout, but I would have a friend over every so often. But if not, I'd bring my rented game to my friend's house that had the rendezvous house, and we did that.
Yeah, see, my house. Well, actually, my house was the hangout. So I lived in the hood. Like two of my best friends, they were more suburban. So they didn't have any action in their neighborhood. You know what I mean? The houses are just all manicured, and people ain't out getting live in the streets. when they came to my house, we were gonna play the game, watch a movie, grab on some pizza, but we could also slide out and get active. And a lot of the ghetto kids, they didn't have curfews. I had a curfew, but every
When the
once in
street
a
lights
while.
came on, right?
See, that was earlier on, man. But when I moved to the hood, nah, man, it was kind of. I was a product of my environment, man. My mom she couldn't help it. She couldn't. If she would have gave me restrictions, I would have just found a way to sneak out, which I did very often.
Shit.
Sorry, Mom. I love you.
Shit, not me. Hey, I had that dad that had that hammer's fist. And I remember it turned from the street lights to the house lights. And I remember coming home maybe 10 minutes after the house lights. My dad said, as soon as those house lights come on, you better be walking in right after.
That means you had to have an eyeball on the house at all times.
Yeah, I lived in a cul-de-sac, and I was the only black kid in the neighborhood. I lived in a white neighborhood, and I would literally, if we're outside playing basketball or playing football on the field nearby, I'm gonna hold it to you, man. I lived in a suburb. I had a golf course nearby. Like we
Oh,
got a golf through the window every now and again,
you
and
can't hide money. You can't hide
whatever. Hey, we didn't have money like that, but we just had a good house in a nice neighborhood at the time, because it ain't the same house and neighborhood now. Right. I see you, Meadowwoods. But we would be out there being active, and as we got older and just playing the games, getting pizza. My friend was Italian, and his family would make homemade Italian. But at the crib, my mom would make the spaghetti with bolognese and make it properly. Go ahead and clap it up. Clap it up. Come on.
We need to download some audio sound effects. Include those right now.
Yeah, nice with the garlic bread, and then of course there was the Chinese, and that was always a win.
Yeah, we had a spot called Phoenix Chinese, and it was almost like a specialty dining experience for me and my family. We didn't go there often, but I always craved it. Whenever we did have Chinese, we went there. Unfortunately, it didn't make it past my childhood. So like I feel like maybe by the time I got to high school, that place had closed down. But that was a top tier core memory when it comes to Chinese food growing up. It was Phoenix. Anybody that's watching this from Jasper, Alabama, man, I know you remember Phoenix. The Phoenix. I don't remember if I'm even saying the name right. I just remember Phoenix, but it was that same old standard traditional Chinese boxes, takeout boxes, man. We used to tear that up, but it was on special occasions. But going back to the spaghetti, I think, all right, I'm going to just keep it a buck. I think spaghetti is one of those meals when the parent or the person in charge of providing dinner for that evening is not that great of a cook. I could be wrong. I feel like my mom went to this as a default because it's the most simplistic meal of all time, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, what's the first meal you learned how to make? Think about it. It probably was how to boil some noodles, brown up some ground beef, and throw in a sauce. You know what I'm saying?
It definitely was a casserole. I will say that.
Oh, that's a little more elegant. Well, casseroles are pretty simplistic, though. You just dump a bunch of things in a pan, right? Mix them up, bake it.
Yeah. You after you cook everything. I apologize for anybody that's watching. Getting the flashing effect. I think my light is starting to die. So bear with me. I don't want nobody with Tourette's spazzing out on their laptop.
You just reminded me. I typically have this ring light that I'll attach to my laptop just to give me a little extra glow. But I got it plugged up in the corner of my room, and I didn't put it up. But yeah, man, when it comes to home cooked meals, though, spaghetti I feel like was the most simple, but 1,000% the most frequent. I remember at one point my brother introduced this. Now my brother hung out. He's like me. He has a motley crew of friends. So like, thank you, baby. My wife just came through in the clutch. My brother had a motley crew of friends, just like myself. So he actually had some homies that were hunters, and they killed a deer, made deer sausage. And I remember the first time they incorporated the deer sausage into the spaghetti, man. That was clutch. That was game changer. 10 out of 10 would recommend, man, if you ever get the opportunity to come across some venison, you got to try that. Bro, you distracted me, man. I don't even know what to do no more.
I'm listening to everything you're saying, bro. I'm just trying to get this like thing figured out. I'm so sorry. And
I think
I
just give it up. Just leave it alone.
no, it was flashing. But the I've never had I've had venison before, but I've never had venison sausage. That sounds crazy. That sounds fire though.
It's fire. Like if I can go back in time, like that would be probably the most life-changing spaghetti experience I've ever had. Because just to keep it 100, spaghetti is just spaghetti. I mean, I don't think people can get too crazy technical with it, um, but I rock with it. You know what I mean? We make it here at my household from time to time. Um, I don't like to because with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, it becomes a mess. It becomes literally
Now,
instant post meal, go straight to the bath. You know,
yeah, and it's always a messy meal. That's something you got to strip the kids down because you know they're not going to be clean eating it afterwards.
1000%.
It even with my kids now, it's like, all right, take off the shirts. You might as well because it's
You
going to
do
be
that
like a
too?
massacre. Absolutely. With the my 6-year-old's not bad, but with a 3-year-old and 1-year-old, oh, it's a must.
Yeah, dog. See, I do that, and I walk around shirtless a lot. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know if that's TMI, but my daughters, I have 2 daughters. They're starting to feel like it's normal. So like when we take their shirt off, they think they can just walk around like that, and they start trying to do that when we got company over. I'm like, baby, cover your body up. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
daddy's body is a little different, sweetheart. I'll have to educate you on it one day, but please.
Yeah. I've had my moments where I've done shirtless in the house, and then my oldest is like, "I want to be like you, daddy," and I'm like, "Boy, put a shirt on, please," because
Yeah, man.
it's
Yeah.
really rare when I do that. But I think it's the funniest thing. I know when my mom would do spaghetti again, like I said, casseroles, she would bake it. Like she would make the noodles, but she would put the meat noodles and then put the cheese over the top and bake it, and it's like a whole nother aesthetic to out of the pot, and it's something even my wife loves when she does it. So again, it's like a casserole because a good family meal is just making a big old casserole like a shepherd's pie, the pasta noodles, all that, and you're like, hey, got this whole thing, cut it up, serve, you got it for a few days. It's a
Exactly.
simple, quick. So that's why I think my mom taught me casserole how to make first, because it's like you want something for yourself or to feed a family, casserole is your best bet.
That's a mom pro tip right there. Your mom sounds like an exceptional woman. She was preparing you for the future and how to win a lady's heart. Shout out to Sarah. That's
Yeah.
that's dope mom advice right there. Like, um, I don't know if I caught the educational moments whenever my mom taught me certain meals. Really, I was self-taught, man. Growing up,
Yeah.
man. What the so we didn't grow up with cable my entire life, but once we did, I discovered the Food Network.
Okay.
When I tell you I was obsessed with Emerald Lagasse, bro, like obsessed with Emerald Lagasse. I
Bam.
watched Food Network, bro. Pork Fat Rules, Kick It Up a Notch, Bam. Like, bro, I was all about it, dog. And I used to emulate that dude in the kitchen, like, and just freestyle, man. And shout out to my grandma, man. She used to let me just freestyle and do whatever. Like, I'm using up all her little groceries. She probably had food stamps or something. I don't know. So she probably didn't care. Probably didn't care. She had them
Yo,
food stamps. She's like, oh baby, just go ahead and make what you want, baby.
and you're the grandchild, so she really ain't gonna tell you
Yeah,
no.
the youngest grandchild too. Yeah.
Oh,
So
at that? Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
I was
Yeah,
spoiled,
I
man. This doesn't
I
really turn into family meals. Sorry to cut you off, but Bart Simpson was such an influential character of my childhood. And I'm just like I just unlocked the core memory of my grandmother always having a Butterfinger or Butterfinger BBs.
mhm.
When I got home from school, I'd go to my grandma's, like I said, tear up her kitchen, but I'd have one of those little barrel juices and a
Yeah, I
butter.
remember those.
Yeah, those, bro. Oh, and those kids cuisines, bro. That's a
Oh
family
man.
meal. The kids cuisine with the pizza, the applesauce, that little
brownie,
gooey,
the cosmic brownie.
gooey brownie but it was crusty on the outside, but gooey in the middle, pretty much
That's
raw.
perfect. That's
Yeah, man, it
perfect.
was clutch. It was top tier, man. Like I
Those
used
are
to,
kids' TV dinners.
yeah, man. For those that know that was like man, having that and putting on some cartoons post school was a
Mm,
legendary family meal experience for me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm with that.
I
I'm
just
with
took you
that.
back. I can see it in your. I
You
can see it.
did, man. You did, man. Because I remember coming home and after school, it being an extended day. If I didn't do my homework at school, I was a nerd, so I was always doing my homework before I did anything else. I was a nerd before I was a jock. So I do my homework. Once my homework's done, okay, what we doing? Playing kickball, playing tag, jumping off the swing, and things like that. And coming home and jumping on the games or watching TV. And I remember in elementary school, I learned about anime, and I remember wanting to be in karate the second I watched anime. And that was part of my after school activities until I just went outside and they're like, "Hey, we're about to play football outside. You want to come?" All right, cool. And I was always the biggest kid, so it was always like, okay, pick this guy, and that was
Yeah,
part of the after school ritual.
that's dope, man. That's dope. Um, I wish I would have got into karate. I want to get my girls into karate.
I wish I
Um,
stuck with it because I realized I could have taught so much more. And I know my oldest, he just told me he wants to do karate, so we're actually on the lookout for any in the area to do it. I know I'll keep him disciplined. I want him to get a disciplined one too because he's so goofy and animated. He's like me a lot. That my mom and dad say he reminds them of me. So I'm like, okay, if he's like me, I know he needs somebody stern because if he gets a long leash, he's gonna want to he's gonna want to entertain people because
yeah,
that's what I'm like, and that's what I'm like still. So it's like, okay, he needs somebody to like, hey, focus. I'm like, yeah, you need that type of instructor, sensei.
no doubt, no doubt. For the sake of time, man, what we got on the next topic, brother?
The next one, we're talking about favorite family meals, but then something that I always looked forward to, my parents would do was go to carnivals or fairs. There was always one nearby the Central Florida Fair. And if it wasn't getting that unlimited wristband and riding all the rides, I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to see what's being fried up. I'm trying to see what's crazy going on. Look at those combinations. And I would go to Classic Weekend here in the area in Orlando where the HBCU comes, Central Florida Fair. When I would go to Jacksonville, Miami, I would go to all these fairs and realize how food can be so creative and unique. And as a kid, I went to my favorites, but as I got older, I was like, hey, I want to try something different. Everybody wants a fried cheesecake. Everybody wants double wrapped bacon. Let me get that giant cookie or giant cheese stick. But if you were to go to a fair, when as a kid or even now, like what are your go-tos for a favorite fair food?
First off, let me start with everything you just used as an example of common fair food or theme park food. I've never had fried cheesecake. Never had giant cheese stick. Thank God I never had, but I would love to have had it because I love mozzarella sticks, but I'm also lactose intolerant, so that would probably be a big issue. But yeah, that'd be a major issue. But man, you know, this just took me back once again, man. My go-to at the carnival fair, theme park, what have you, was a candied apple, not the caramel apple, but the that red OG candied apple. And man, I can't tell you how many times I've like busted the brackets off of my braces, you know, breaking all the rules of what you should consume.
I was just gonna say you broke that list. He broke it.
And,
You broke the rules.
oh, bro. And my mom already like it was game over, man. If there was a fair or carnival in town, I'm getting a candy apple. Probably gonna get a Polish dog. For some reason, I was really big on those Polish glizzies, bro. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even like tubular food like that no more, though. So
Even though you mentioned venison sausage earlier.
yeah, but it's chopped up in like kind of like beanie weenie style,
Okay. Okay.
little
Hey,
medallion.
Hey, that's a struggle meal. Don't get me started on beanies and weenies, my guy.
Man, hold on. I can side note this because a homie of mine just posted on Facebook, and we grew up together. And he posted like this, and it was this collective of all these images of little quote unquote struggle meals, and it was like tuna sandwich with like chips. It was beanie weenies. It was like beef
Nice and
stroganoff, or like it was like beef stroganoff or like hamburger helper, like some type of form of hamburger helper. Um, it was spaghetti. Spaghetti was one of them too, dog. Spaghetti was one of them.
Yeah.
And it was like these meals got y'all through tough times and still get y'all through today. And my homeboy's caption on it was like, these ain't struggle meals. These are just quick, convenient meals, and they still hit. And he was like, some of them I could tear up right now. And I was like, oh, and one of them, oh man, in college, when me and my wife first started dating, we used to tear these up. But it was a bologna, egg, and cheese sandwich on toast. And when I tell you, like, I'm salivating thinking about it. I don't really eat bologna like that, but every once in a while, if I just get in that mood, I'm gonna make that extended trip to the grocery store to pick up that mystery meat of bologna, throw a bologna, egg, and cheese together, and the whole house is gonna be satisfied. And none of us are gonna be like, oh, we struggling. But yeah, man, my bad. I had to digress on that real quick.
No, you good. But let me ask you before we go back to the carnival topic. How thick was that cut of bologna?
Oh, just the standard like Oscar Mayer style. You know what I mean?
Oh man, dude, there was a restaurant here called the Southern Deli, and they had a bologna sandwich. I forgot what they called it, but it was a bologna sandwich on white bread. And my God, when I tell you this was the thickest cut of bologna, like, and they cooked it, so it was seared, like it was black charred, so it had that crispness to it. You didn't like your bologna cooked?
Yeah, no, it had to be. It had to.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Be thick.
There's something weird about like the thickness. You know what I mean? Wow. I don't know why, bro. Like when I started seeing that, and when I started seeing like if you go to a deli and you see that big old red tube of bologna, and like you can kind of cut at your own discretion, that just weirded me out a little bit. I don't know why, bro. Maybe I'm just weird.
Everybody got a phobia or something.
I feel like it was a phobia. Like if you gave me some big bologna, I'm like, nah, man, you take that little. Wow. That's like a little too much mystery meat for me, bro.
We gotta make struggle meals a whole other topic because we can go on a tangent on that. So I want to stay on
the
topic.
We definitely do. We're gonna say that for next episode. We won't get to the carnival, man. But top tier carnival foods for me, it's got to be that candied apple, the red candy apple, and a Polish dog. And every once in a while, I'll sprinkle in that funnel cake, man.
Now, funnel cake is the GOAT. Now, did you mention something before we started recording? A cinnamon bun burger or something like that?
Yeah, man. So, prior to me leaving the O, I moved back up to Pensacola, and man, they have a pretty good fairground, man, and it draws a pretty big crowd up in the Panhandle of Pensacola, Florida. And man, I have it on my Instagram. I'll have to we'll throw it up on the IG or something. But yeah, man, they had a honey bun cheeseburger, and it's the second I saw it, I was like, well, I already know what I'm eating. You know what I mean? I gotta have that. You know what I mean? And man, if for those that know, like if you nuke a honey bun for about 5 to 10 seconds in the microwave and then indulge, it's a life-changing experience, right? Yeah. Now you do that same concept on a salty, savory cheeseburger.
Yeah. Did they sear the honey buns, or they gave them to you room temperature?
Yeah, they definitely seared it, so it had a little toast to like caramelize that sugar. So it basically gave it a little bit more. It made it a little more sturdy, right? So it was a little more sturdy on the interior. So man, yeah, bro, that was a good one. That was top tier. My only gripe on it is just like a lot of just I'm a tough critic when it comes to burgers. I've had hundreds and hundreds all over the country, right? So like they just used a basic frozen patty. They seasoned it
Yeah.
deeply, but that was the only gripe, man. It was just if it would have been a smash burger, it probably would have been a game changer for real.
Yeah, you can tell the difference when something's frozen versus when it's freshly thawed out and seasoned and whatnot.
Yeah,
So when you say that, it reminds me of the Luther, where it's essentially the same thing, but with Krispy Kreme donuts
Krispy
named after
Kreme.
Luther
Yeah.
Vandross. So that's
Hold
what that
on,
reminds me
you
of.
gotta drop the legendary show where that came from, man.
What's that?
The Luther.
Boondocks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but I've heard of the Luther before the Boondocks talked about it.
Oh, I never heard of it until the Boondocks.
Yeah, so it was named after Luther Vandross because whenever he would get a burger, he would want it between Krispy Kreme buns. That's why they called it the Luther.
Yeah,
But the
Luther.
Boondocks did a spin on it where they did that crazy burger and
Okay.
will give people the itis. And I think the episode's called the itis. I got that on the DVD set and they will fall asleep, which is hilarious, by the way. If you're sleeping on
Look,
Boondocks, man, you need
all the
to
white
culture yourself.
listeners, they're gonna be like, "What is the itis? What does that mean?"
Just watch the Boondocks, you'll learn.
We'll give you our Black History 101 one day.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But I know my fair food. You mentioned funnel cake, that was always one, and I just like it powdered. I didn't like that compote and all that stuff on there. That's all unnecessary extra sugar. Definitely a good mozzarella stick, especially those log ones, even longer than the ones that we got from Chili's. And
Those are
you
tough.
living where you are now, you got to go to the Strawberry Festival when it comes back.
In Plant City. Yeah,
You got to go. We were making a family thing. We go with my best friend and his daughter and wife with our kids. We made like an annual thing, and it is a huge carnival. They got one side for the kids and families and another side for the bigger adults. But strawberry shortcake everywhere, Strawberry Festival. Different types of vendors. I got frog legs, big mozzarella sticks, and there are these donuts called peaches. My guy, these things rival Krispy Kreme because they are freshly yeast rolls, and there you see them glazed and hung up on the rack, dripping of the glaze. Like they give it to you fresh. And these rival Krispy Kreme, my guy. I'm like, why are you just a truck? Why are you not a storefront? Because if people in that area
Why
know
does that description of a donut just make me want to go make love to my wife?
Well, I'm not going to worry about what kind of glaze you got. I'm sure.
Sorry.
She's probably laying across the room right now waiting on you. So let me not get too descriptive for the people listening
in. Man, yeah, bro. I definitely gotta check out Plant City. Check out the strawberry. I've heard a lot of good things about it, man. I've never been around this area until this year to be able to have access to it. But it's just it's what 20-30 minutes from where I live now.
No,
so.
It's not far from you at all. Depending on traffic, for me, it's about a good 30-35. And we head out there and we just put the kids in the wagon. Well, the babies, because the other kids walk. Because they're gonna sleep on the way back.
There you go. You got to
get a hotel. Yeah. And sometimes we get a hotel, so we're just close by and get like a little vacation. But other times we just make that trip, go out there, and then head on back. And the sooner you go, the better. And then sometimes, they even have concerts there. So they have, like, I think last year they had Ludacris come out there. They have like a whole lineup of celebrity. Yeah, because there's this big auditorium and stage that you pass by to get to both sides.
Now, this is the same Plant City that that's the country.
Yeah, bro, I'm telling you. And Dick, if you go to their website, they'll tell you who's performing and when, so you can buy tickets to the performance and watch them there at the festival, bro. I haven't seen any of the concerts, but I know one year had Nelly and another one had Ludacris, and I think Kenny Chesney came one time too. I could be wrong. I don't know. They have a whole lineup of people.
That makes more sense. Like that seems like the type of place where She Think My Tractor's Sexy would be like the theme song of the environment. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, you're right, but I like Plant City is definitely that type of country town. But people travel from Tampa, like all those local Tampa people come up there for that
Yeah,
stuff, man. I
yeah.
run into people from
I'm
Orlando
gonna make it
too.
a point to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, I may run into you out there because we love going there. So the kids like it too. So
If you
that's a good.
recommended it, I'm gonna hit it up. You've always been faithful and truthful, so I'm gonna take your word for it. If you say it's a must-try experience, I'm gonna take my ass out there.
Cool. I appreciate that. But we get into the tail end of this episode, y'all. We're gonna have to wrap it up. You know, I do want to say that it's still holiday time. You know, Black Friday was something that's gonna be hectic. Um, Everybody be safe out there. Everybody do smart shop, spend time with family, enjoy traveling, enjoy time. That's what I got. You got any last words for anybody listening in or watching?
Man, you said it perfectly, man. Enjoy time with the family. Like I feel like Thanksgiving is getting a little bit overlooked, and it's more of a focus of greed and overconsumption. Um, really take the time to like be present in the moment and accept the things that you do have. Appreciate the people that you do have in your life. Hug your loved ones, kiss your loved ones. Enjoy that time with them.
Uh, all right, y'all. We ran into some technical difficulties, but thank y'all for tuning in to this episode of Between the Buns. Be safe. Much love. See you on the next episode. Peace.